We are officially recording. Welcome, everybody. Happy Tuesday. How y'all feeling? Come on, let me see some smiles. Let me see some teeth. Some fist pumps. Come on. Yeah, there we go. There we go. There we go. Turn on your cameras, y'all. I want to see your face. Y'all are hiding out on me. If you still have a couple seconds, make sure to reach out to your peeps. Send them a message, tell them to hop on. Let's load this baby up. We've got some super awesome content for you guys today that I know is going to be incredibly valuable for your business. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Alexis Brady, and I just got back from a week in Puerto Vallarta, so I am like needing this more than ever. I came back to 10 feet of snow and all the cold weather. So anyways, super grateful anyways. And let's start out with just some quick gratitude here. You guys share something in the chat with me that you're super grateful for on this beautiful day. I'm grateful for my dog, my bed, be back in there. I'm grateful for a little bit of darker skin, feeling kind of confident in my tan. Grateful for my health, grateful for these daily calls, healthy babies. My bacon. Just wrote my last Yukon payment. Check it out. I love it. Feeling better after a few days of vertigo. Oh gosh, I'm glad. Keto life parties, my husband, these calls, healthy family. Grateful for my Amy, the sun, these beautiful faces, my mentors. Grateful for this call. Grateful for these calls. Grateful for myself. I love it, you guys. You are all so amazing. Grateful for freedom. We are all so incredibly fortunate to even be here today. So I think that is very clear. Awesome. So really quick before we get started, I just have a few announcements for you guys who saw their Pulse app. Did y'all see that? So if you didn't see, we are having a special Purple Day flash sale for Smart Chip customers. So it's a box of fairy dust, a box of MCT oil, and then you get a free box of Purple Rain if you buy that. So it's $179 for 55 servings. That's like a wicked good deal. Yeah. So hop on that. Make sure you take advantage of it. It also looks like they're donating 2% of all sales today to the Charlie Foundation. So this is all in honor of it's National Epilepsy Day. So sorry about that. So we have that. Also, I peeped my cloud, and it looks like you can still get your hands on Ruby Rush. You can still get your hands on Eclipse, and I saw Mitoplexus back there as well. So our cloud is looking real beautiful right now. So make sure you're letting your customers know that all that stuff is back there available for them to access. Also, something that I'm really working on is just using different language when I'm talking to my customers and prospects about SmartShip, and just really reiterating the importance and the value in SmartShip, especially now if you guys have caught on to this new trend. Most of our deals are available to SmartShip customers only. So when I have somebody that goes to purchase a new customer, I'm actually telling them before they even go buy their box of ketones, make sure that you choose Today in SmartShip, because you're going to get 22% off, and because that unlocks special offers for you that other people don't get access to. So just planting that seed and telling them right off the bat so they know that not only are they getting 22% off, but they're also unlocking these offers like today where they're getting free boxes of ketones or special discounts, stuff like that. So super important to let them know about that. And then lastly, tonight we'll have our Keto 101. So make sure you keep an eye out for the announcements on that. And I am super jacked up about today, so I don't want to take any more time from Nick. So we're going to hear from Nick Couch today. Raise your hand if you wish that you were more comfortable talking about ketones to somebody that you maybe are sitting next to on the airplane, or raise your hand. How about this? Put a 1 in the chat. if you wish you could just like be the person that sparks a conversation with somebody at the gas station or in the Uber, like I always feel like this like tug on my heart to do it. And then I chicken out sometimes. And I wish that I had better awareness and better language and better confidence to use when I'm talking to these people face to face. Well, Nick is like the beast at cold contact. Like he has built his entire business this way. And so he is going to break it down for us specifically on like what he is saying and doing to have confidence and to use proper language when talking to people in that format, which I think is going to be incredible. So pull out your notebooks, grab your pens, get rid of your distractions. Like let's pay attention and let's get All right, Nick, I just unmuted you.
All right, I didn't realize I was unmuted. I was looking for the button. What's going on, everybody? Who is fired up? Like, I don't see enough cameras on. I don't see enough white teeth. I'm bringing amazing energy anyway, but give me some love. So let's dig into cold contacting, in-person connections. Like, a lot of us are really, really powerful behind our keyboard, behind our screen, in our home, in our comfort zone. But like I saw in that chat, like how many people were like 1. They want to get better at in-person relationship building, meeting the stranger, meeting that random person that takes your business to a whole nother level. That relationship with that person you randomly met that you can call on when you're in a pinch. I'm going to tell you some stories about some of the people that I've met through my cold contacts and where their business is at and how that's all panned out. But I want to start off by talking about some of the environments that are my favorite, but there's really no limit on it. So first one, I always go to coffee shops, specifically Starbucks, just because it's convenient. There's lots of locations, and everybody has visited a Starbucks almost in there at some point in their life. So I don't go to slow, dead, dreary coffee shops. I want to go to the busy coffee shop. I want to go to the coffee shop where there's lots of other people. So when I'm having my one-on-one meeting, other people can overhear the conversation. They see my keto shirt. They see the ketone blender bottle. They see, I always take props. I always go into a meeting with props. I'll carry like 2 or 3 boxes of Max, a box of keto cream, and I'll get to my meeting early and I'll kind of stage the table with props. Because as this conversation gets bigger, people have actually walked up to me and like, hey, I see that P with the circles around it on your shirt. I'm starting to see that more often. What is that? It's all the P, the Pruvit P is starting to become like the Nike swoosh. Like people are starting to like recognize it and become familiar with it and see it. They don't even know we have ketones. They just notice the P. So coffee shops is one of my favorites. Like I don't go to slow coffee shops. I want to go where there's lots of other people so I can bump into them. I can talk to them while I'm getting my coffee, etc. Plus, if people will pay $4, $5, $6, $7 for a cup of Starbucks, they don't cringe when they look at the price of ketones. If you go to the gas station for your 89-cent coffee with free refills, the person that's there buying the 89-cent coffee, no offense, they're typically not going, some of them do, but they're just not as open to it. So I like to go to the more expensive upscale coffee shops. Uber passenger. Be an Uber passenger. Like whenever I go to Pruvit events, whenever I travel with my team, I do not rent a car. For the same price as renting the car, you can ride Uber lots of times in the course of a day. So let's say $100 a day for Uber. That's like 10 Uber trips depending on where you're going. That's 10 Uber drivers who are entrepreneurial. They're into the side hustle. It's a great place to start conversations. I'm going to come back and give you examples, but I want to go through my favorite environments. So this is one probably nobody on this screen, unless Brian James is on one of the other pages, even knows. So yes, I'm crazy. Yes, I'm high energy. And I'm nuts. I like to be out and about. I started driving Uber 1 day a week, 1 day a month, 1 day every couple months. Like it's literally like sometimes I'll be driving home from a meeting and I don't have a rush. So I'll take one trip. I'll take one passenger 10 minutes down the road. It is freaking brilliant networking. I used to spend $80 a month, $150 a month to be a member of networking meetings, but you're meeting the same people every week and they're not giving you many referrals. I meet more people in 1 4-hour evening driving Uber than I would in a month's worth of networking. it's brilliant. And especially if you live near a busy airport, if you drive at the airport, you're meeting people from Dubai, Saudi Arabia, Australia, Hong Kong. Like, you're meeting people from all over the world, all over the country. It's brilliant. And when it's kind of like if you're a hairstylist, when that person's in your chair and you're cutting their hair, you control the conversation. If you're in my Uber, I have a ketone blender bottle in my cup holder. I have a couple packets laying there loose. I own the conversation. I talk to them about life and what they do for a living, and I turn it to the ketone conversation. But it's something I do. I'm not driving Uber. Great. I have a nice car too. That starts lots of conversations. If I take my Pruvit Cadillac Escalade out, people are like, what are you driving an Escalade in Uber for? Because it's not like a normal vehicle they get picked up in. They're used to getting picked up in that 10-year-old Toyota minivan. So like when you pull up in a nice car, if that's you, like I'm a car guy, it starts the conversation for you. Like, oh, what do you do for a living? You're not paying this car payment driving Uber. Airplanes and airports, when you fly to Pruvit events, the person sitting next to you on the airport, like you kind of own that conversation. I literally sell 10 days on the airplane. Gas stations, grocery stores, a gym, workout environment, CrossFit, bar, yoga, whatever you're into. Hotels. I specifically wrote next to hotels, the elevator. I had a guy at the last Epic event. He got on the elevator on the 9th floor. He rode down to the 8th floor. Abigail Klutz got on at the 8th floor. We went to the lobby. Abigail got off. Abigail validated everything I was talking to him about. She's like, yeah, ketones are amazing. She was drinking one. It was awesome. And Abigail's really fit. This guy his wheels were starting to spin. I went to the basement. I started talking to him more. He bought a packet to try it, to taste test it. He ordered a box after he got home from Phoenix to Texas. He just signed up yesterday as a promoter. He's on fire. He was down like a couple pounds in the first couple days. Like he's literally running around with his hair on fire. He started the conversation because I was wearing the keto shirt. He's like, hey, I see all these people talking about keto and ketones. He's like, what is this all about? You've got to tell me. He asked me. Sometimes cold contacting goes both ways. Restaurants, literally anywhere you're around other human beings. I always joke around with people that I work with that if you come within 5 feet of Nick Couch and I have an opportunity to talk to you, you're going to find out about ketones and ketosis and stuff like that. Like, I'm on fire. I always go with energy. And like, I bleed ketones. Like, seriously, like if you come in contact with me, you're going to find out about ketones. So let's start talking about the how. So if I'm in line at Starbucks and I'm getting my coffee, I try to frequent the same couple Starbucks locally for meetings. So if I'm going to the Carlisle Starbucks often and I'm going to the Mechanicsburg Starbucks office or the Starbucks, and if I'm going to the Camp Hill Starbucks, those were the 3 that I used the most. Guess what? The employees start to recognize me. They start to know my drink. They start to ask me questions. I don't go in there the first day and like try and pitch the business or talk ketones the first day to the barista. And typically their wheels are starting to spin because I'm asking for packets of butter for my coffee. I'm standing at the end of the bar dumping my keto cream in. And I'm going to stand up to do this so you can get the visual. I don't have a packet of keto cream near me, but I'm going to pretend this is a packet of keto cream that I'm going to put in my coffee. So you know how sometimes that powder gets stuck at the top of the packet and you have to get it down? I literally stand in line at the end of the Starbucks where all the other people are waiting for their coffee, and I take the packet and I obnoxiously smack it off of my inner thigh. Then I dump it in. It starts questioning. Like, people are like, because all the people at Starbucks are putting the Starbucks products in their Starbucks coffee. I'm putting something else in a foreign packet that they're not familiar with in my coffee. People start looking, and I'm like, oh, have you ever tried putting fat in your coffee? Have you ever heard of, I don't like to say bulletproof coffee because it's technically one of our competitors, but I'll talk about it if they've ever heard of keto coffee. Or they'll ask me like, hey, what is that you're putting in your coffee? It starts the conversation. It breaks the ice. Literally, I smack it on my inner thigh so loud that every person in the Starbucks is looking at me. I do those things habitually. Like, it's like flexing that muscle. You got to build that muscle to get out of your comfort zone. I don't care what the person next to me thinks about me smacking that packet off my leg. I don't care. Like, I've lost caring about what other people think and view of me. I just don't care. Like, you've got to get over that fear of caring. Like, oh, they might think I'm weird. They might think I'm a nutball. I don't care. Like, if I'm pushing my grocery cart and I'm in the butter and egg area and I see somebody getting a packet of Kerrygold, typically they're eating a low-carb keto diet or they're just health conscious, or they would be buying the 25-cent stick of butter. I say, oh, I see you're grabbing Kerrygold. Are you on a keto diet? Boom, instant conversation. If you see them grabbing heavy cream, hey, I drink heavy cream too. Do you do a keto diet? Boom. Like, drop those little terms in there that launch the conversation into what you want. Own the conversation. If you're on an airplane, you ask the person, oh, what do you do for a living? Guess what they're going to ask you? Oh, blah, 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 blah. What do you do for a living? Wazam, ketones. Like, own the conversation. Ask the questions that you want them to ask you back. Like, typically they'll ask you the questions back. And if you look healthy and like you work out, if you can start the conversation, like if you see somebody in running gear, running shoes, they look like they just got done with a marathon, or they look like they just got done with a CrossFit class, you can ask them, be like, oh, it looks like you work out. Or if they're wearing like workout shoes, like the Reebok CrossFit shoes. Like, it's an easy way to start the conversation. Like, oh, it looks like you work out. Bam. What do you know about ketones and ketosis? Bam. The play that works. It works in real life too. It's not just something you do on your keyboard. But these ways, like, I own the conversation. And then what you should be doing is you should be archiving and collecting all of your before and after transformation keto pictures. And you don't want to scroll back through to like last November to find that fat loss picture of your friend. I go into my albums. I know exactly where it's at. I have a before and after album with 212 before and after photos. I don't have to go through all the pictures of my kids and my flat tire that I had last week. I don't have to. They're all in one place, and I know where they're at. So I have like guy pictures, girl pictures. Like, I want to match the hatch. Like, I have my own picture in there. I show them, hey, this is when I was fat. This is when I was skinny. This is me now that I work out. Like, have your own story to tell. Like, these are the relation buildings. So I want to go back to the gas station. So literally my fastest growing, most on fire promoter right now, I met at a gas pump. I was at pump 2. He pulled into pump 1 literally a year ago, basically. I was in my car. I just came home from a Pruvit event. I had ketones scattered everywhere in my trunk randomly. And he pulled up in the gas pump next to me. He had a really, really wicked Jeep. I was checking the time, make sure I'm on track. He had a really wicked Jeep, like off-road suspension, big tires, like real legit off-roading wheels, the winch, the tow straps, the fire extinguisher, the gas can, the jack to jack it up if you're stuck in a ditch. It was like, it wasn't like a cute Jeep with big rims and tires. Like, it was a legit, like, this guy takes this thing trail riding. So I was like, dude, that's an awesome Jeep. Tell me about it. I forget the exact conversation, but we started talking about his Jeep. And I mentioned, here's where I owned the conversation. I was like, oh, my business partner has a really cool Jeep with blah, 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 and blah, 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 and these tires and these axles. I was talking about Brian James. Brian James has a really cool Jeep. You need to know these things. I was like, my business partner has a Jeep. Guess what he said? Oh, your business partner, what kind of business do you have? Bam, he's an entrepreneur. He owns a construction company. Instantly started talking about business. I had my keto shirt on. I was like, oh, I have a keto company, keto business. I forget what I said, but I had a keto something. He's a cancer survivor. He used the ketogenic diet 4, 5, 6 years ago while he was battling cancer. So he already knew about it. So as soon as I said keto, the light bulb went off. We kept talking. I friended him on Facebook, which I'm going to come into the connection piece of it. I don't want to take much time because this isn't a connection Zoom, but it kind of goes, you have to know once you meet the person in the Starbucks or the gas station, how do you follow up with them? So I connected with him on Facebook. I didn't try and sell him a 10-day out of my trunk. But over the course of 8 months, I checked in on him every once in a while. Like, hey, man, how's it been? What's going on? Hey, blah, blah, blah. I saw you got new parts for your Jeep. Hey, here's this cool doctor call with Dr. Heather Carden where she talks about ketones. Hey, boom, here's an Inspire On video I think you'll like. Boom. It's just like I keep sprinkling ketones in. I'm not trying to go for the kill. Some people, yes, some people, no. You have to learn to feel it out, and it's part of practicing. You'll mess a few up. You'll try and go in for the kill on the 10-day, and it'll blow up, and that person will block you on Facebook. I knew that the guy that I met that day at the gas pump, he was skeptical because he used the keto diet for a major health condition. I knew he was super skeptical about drinking ketones, so I just slowly chipped away at that block. It's like if you're trying to break a boulder with a sledgehammer, you don't hit it once and it blows into pieces. Like, you have to hit it over and over and over again. I knew that that relationship was going to take a little bit of nurturing. So over the course of 8 months, I checked in on him. I dropped off some information. I sent him this. I sent him that. Still talked about ketones every once in a while. The thing that got him over the hump was I was out delivering a 5-day to a customer that ran out before his smart ship came. That customer happens to be a wrestling coach, a private instruction wrestling coach in his house. So I walk in the guy's basement to drop off his packets of ketones. Guess who's in the basement? The guy I met at the gas station. He's like, dude, are you stalking me? I was like, no, I'm dropping off ketones for Ryan, the guy I met at the gas station's son's wrestling coach. So I dropped off the packets and I left. I didn't try and stand there and talk ketones because I knew Tony's now seeing his son's wrestling coach using ketones. He trusts his son with the wrestling coach. He's going to trust the wrestling coach more than me. Third-party validation. I didn't know they knew each other. So I dropped the packets of ketones off. He already paid for them. I dropped them off on the desk or the table, and I left. Guess who called me the next day? On fire. I need a 10-day. I need to try this. Ryan, the wrestling coach, was talking all about his amazing experience and how great these products were. I need to try it myself. Guess who drank ketones for 10 days, became a promoter, bought the experience pack, went GoPro, went Go MVP, is on his way to rank 6. Soon rank 7. Like, he's literally crushing the conversation. I met him at a freaking gas pump. A gas pump. Think about how many times a year you pump gas and somebody's standing next to you. Think about how many times you grab a snack or a bottle of water at the gas station and you pass people. How many times you're sitting at your kid's sporting event. How many times you're in an airport, in an airplane. How many times you ride Uber. If you're growing a big business, you should be riding in more airplanes and more Ubers. Like, these things should be growing. So if you're not learning the art of cold contacting, you're literally missing out on a huge chunk of your business. Sometimes those cold contacts go nowhere. Sometimes you get their Facebook information and you just let them watch for years. I met a guy, technically a cold contact, 3 years ago at a men's Christian conference in San Diego with Brian James. I met a guy 3 years ago. He tried a 10-day, ordered a box. His mom's been using ketones for 3 years, but he couldn't really afford it. Now he's getting engaged. He has a wedding coming up. He started the keto diet, and he's having insane results. So now he's like, maybe there's something to these ketones. So he tried some more ketones. His fiance tried ketones. They tried it together. Guess who's ready to become a promoter? They're moving to Tucson. She's a hairdresser. They're like super passionate. I just shipped their pastor a 10-day. They're already sharing the conversation. 3 years, guys. The problem is everybody wants the instantaneous. I met that guy at the gas pump. I want him to be a promoter on my team tomorrow. Sometimes it takes a little bit of time. The problem is we get too excited. Like, trust me, I'm an exciting person. Like, I get fired up. But, like, you have to reel it in a little bit. You have to learn the art of cold contacting. But the connection, yes, I carry business cards in my pocket, in my Pruvit backpack, in all of my cars. I have backups in my glove box. Like, I don't ever want to be without them. When I travel, I shove some in my check bag. Business cards are great. They're not great if that's all you've done was give them a business card. Is it good to give him, if you're like in the Uber and you got to go, is it good to give him a card so he has something to get a hold of you? Yes. I'd rather give them something than nothing. But if you're getting good at the conversation, you should be able to get them on Facebook. Hey, add me on Facebook quick. Hey, if it's a younger person, I might be like, hey, add me on Snapchat. Some of the younger generation isn't on Facebook. I might be like, hey, what's more convenient for you? Facebook, Instagram, or Snapchat? I might connect on all three. It depends on how the conversation is going. But you want to have some kind of connection so you can follow up with them. If you just give them, this is so funny because I'm sorting my business cards. If you just give them a business card, like I collect business cards literally all over the country. Like, have I called all of these people? No, because like business cards are a slow method. Most of the people that you give a business card to will run it through their washing machine, throw it in the trash, lose it in the seat of their car. Some of you ladies can probably understand you lose it in the bottom of your Mary Poppins purse. Like they just get lost. They get ruined. They fall out. You drop them, whatever. So I try not to just give a business card. I try to give them a business card so they might be cleaning out that junk drawer a year from now, find it, be like, oh, I'm ready to try ketones. But I try to own the follow-up. I try to get their information, whether I get their phone number. And what's really cool is everybody has a smartphone nowadays. So literally if I'm standing there, I'll pull my phone out, I'll open my contacts, and I'll bump their hand. I'll almost put it in their hand. I'll touch their hand with my phone. I'm like, go ahead and put your phone number in so I can keep in touch with you. Because if you put it near their hand, it's like a natural thing to grab it and do it. Like it just works. Like if you put your phone in their hand, it's like, I don't know if the Bluetooth's putting off a signal that makes them do it, whatever, but it's just a natural thing for them to put their information in. And if you put their information in your phone, for all of you that use an iPhone, you'll understand. If you don't use an iPhone, sorry about that. But no, I'm just joking because I'm an iPhone fanatic. So when you go into the contacts and you're adding a new contact, under first name, last name, company. Under company, I might put like Walmart deli section ketones. I might put the Renaissance Hotel Phoenix. I might put Top Golf Dallas, Texas. I'll put in the city and the state of where I met them. Because guess what? Every time I go to Phoenix, every time I go to Texas, every time I go to Atlanta, if you go in the search bar and you type in Texas, Atlanta, or Georgia, or Florida, or Miami, if you put the city or the state or both, your phone's going to pull up all the people you ever met there. So you can be like, hey, John, I'm coming back to Atlanta this weekend. Like, if you're around, let's grab a cup of coffee. It's brilliant. Then you can start breaking down your contacts by city and state. If you're traveling, you can go search every Uber driver you met in Texas, every waitress you met in Florida, every waitress you met in Tennessee, so on and so forth. The bellhop at the hotel, whoever. Put something in there, that way it jogs your memory. And what's fun, too, is you can add a photo. So I'm like, oh, so I can remember who you are. Let's take a selfie together so I can put it in my contacts. People are so open to taking selfies. Sometimes they give you a weird look. Put a picture of it in there. When you take the picture in your phone now, in your phone contacts, it saves it to your camera roll. Then as soon as you finish saving the contact, text them the picture and ask them to do the same thing. Like, these are the little hacks that make cold contacting awesome. I know I'm really tight on time. I like to read real books, chapters here, chapters there. I don't read books cover to cover. I kind of chunk them. Brian Underwood's the one that taught me that. So I might read a chapter or three here, a chapter or three of here, but I apply it immediately. So last night I was reading about this story, and it really resonated with me that I needed to talk about it. So I'm going to read it fast. So it's talking about don't let go of the wheel. So this guy's talking about, imagine a farmer gets up every single day and puts grain on the back of his tractor. He puts the tractor in gear. He drives out a mile into the pasture to feed the cows, and they all come running. He dumps the feed and goes back to the barn. If he gets up every single day for 10, 15, 20 years, starts the tractor, puts the feed on it, puts it in gear, and goes out to the same exact spot in the field, what will eventually happen? He will build ruts in the path to the cows. Eventually, he could just get up, throw the grain on the back, start the tractor, put it in gear, and the tractor will drive itself out there because it's going to follow the ruts in the field. The tractor will take him to the exact same spot that he's been going to for years. Apply this story to your life and ask, have I let go of the wheel? Do I have ruts that keep me doing the same thing every day, day in and day out? It doesn't necessarily mean your entire life is in a rut, but that thought you might be unconsciously doing the same things daily, expecting different results. Do you have habits that make every day the same while you simultaneously hope for an outside factor to change it? So if you're scared crapless of cold contacting, you've never done it, you're like, I'm not going to start today, I'm good behind the keyboard. You're in a rut. You're expecting results. You've got to start doing it. It takes a little bit of everything. I wouldn't consider myself a beast on social media. Do I attract people on social media? Do I make posts? Do I do Facebook Lives? Yes. Do I do social media? Yes. I'm stronger in person, so why not focus on that? But I'm trying to learn and grow my social media. That's why I'm on Katie and Kendra's Zooms. But if you're in that rut, you're expecting that person at the gas station is going to join your team and you're not going to talk to them, you're expecting these results with no action. Is your tractor in a rut? It talks about every day, turn the steering wheel a quarter of an inch. The first couple of days, you might end up in the neighbor's field, but you can still see your cows. Over the course of a year, a quarter of an inch every day, you're going to end up in another state wondering where your cows are. How are you going to feed them? So it's like, I really want you to think about that. Like because I know a lot of people are just afraid of cold contacting. And what I recommend is don't try to talk to everybody. Try to talk to a couple people. Don't try and talk ketones in the beginning because you don't know how to do it. You haven't flexed that muscle. So if I walked up to Alexis and she had on a pair of, I don't know, glittery Gucci shoes in line at Starbucks, I might comment on her shoes. I didn't even talk to her about ketones. I didn't add her on Facebook. I just started a conversation to start practicing starting conversations. Just start conversations. If you have tattoos and you see someone with tattoos, it's an easy way to start the conversation. Don't even go in for a keto talk. Just get good at conversating. Just start complimenting people. Eventually, you can start talking ketones. Eventually, you can start adding them on Facebook. It's a muscle you're going to have to build, especially if you're very introverted. So I could literally rip for hours. I'm at the time limit. I'd love to come back maybe and do a part 2, or we could open it up for Q&A or something fun another week. But guys, I promise you, if you just start talking to people, start complimenting, start asking them like, oh, it looks like you're in workout clothes. What kind of fitness are you into? Or I've literally asked people at the end of the bar where you pick up your drink at Starbucks, oh, what's your favorite drink here? Just start conversation. It might turn into a keto conversation on accident before you're even ready for it, but just start exercising that muscle. You will be blown away. Literally, I have hundreds and hundreds of business cards of people I've connected with. I'm organizing. I'm going to start a system, but that means if I have hundreds of theirs, they have hundreds of mine. That means there's a bunch of them on Facebook that are still watching me. So I promise you, if you start applying these things, it will make a difference in your business, and you'll build some really cool relationships with some random people that you never even thought possible. You'll meet people from around the world, all over, different age, height, fitness, like every little walk of life you can imagine. I'm rambling. That's all I've got, Alexis. Go ahead and bring it home.
Awesome. Oh my God, that was amazing. Everybody, I can just tell by the reactions in the chat, the smiles, the head nods, the yes, 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 yes. Yes, that was freaking phenomenal. Really quick, do I have your guys' permission to go just a few minutes still? I wanted to ask you one question, Nick, because I saw about 4 or 5 people say it in the chat. What is your go-to when somebody says, what do you do?
Typically, I'm in a keto shirt. So I'll typically say I have my own keto company, or I have a keto business. Or if I'm wearing my keto coach shirt, I'll say, oh, I'm a keto coach. I don't really have like a one line that I use every time. I base it off of the feeling I'm getting from the person. Do they look like an entrepreneur? Do they look like a stay-at-home mom? I don't know. I don't have one. I kind of use a bunch, and I pick and choose which one is maybe best suited for that situation. Or I don't know. There's just if you, it's getting, the keto buzz is getting so big. If you just say I'm into keto, they're going to be like, oh, really? Like, so many people are aware of keto and ketosis and the ketogenic diet now. If you just say I'm a keto entrepreneur, whatever, I don't say that I'm a keto community-based marketing expert. I just keep it simple, like, and then I connect with them, and then I take it from there. But just give them something and put the word keto in it. Like,
yeah, I love it. I love keto coach even. Like, I'm a keto coach. Let me tell you more about what don't overthink it. It's so simple.
Just whatever comes out. Yeah.
Yeah. I think my favorite thing that you said today was ask the questions you want them to ask you back. Like, when you said that, I was like, oh my, I like underlined it 7,000 times, because like, what do you do? All right. They're going to tell you, and they're going to be like, so what do you do? You know, like, it's such a simple way to lead the conversation without being awkward or weird.
And you're awkward to talk to them, but they're probably just as awkward to talk to you. So like, if you just start talking to them, they're not going to come up with these random off the wall things to talk about. They're going to ask you the same question back. It works literally almost every time. And I totally forgot to add it in there. When you have that fear of talking to somebody, like that person, specifically if you're in an airport or in a city or state that you don't live in, that person you're going to meet at the gas station, the car, the Starbucks, the Uber, you're probably never going to see that person ever again in your entire life. Who cares? Who cares if they think you're psycho? Who cares if they think you're a nut job? Like, you're literally there's 7.7 billion people in the world. The chances of you bumping into them again in the next 40 years of your life is slim to none. Now, if you're at the gas station a half mile from your house, you might bump into them again. But like, even locally, like, people I talk to, like, I never ever see them again. So I don't really care what they think about me. Like, just go for it.
Yeah, I mean, I think my biggest like takeaway from the call today was just to detach yourself from the outcome of talking to people. You just have to talk to people. You just have to start conversations, because if you don't, then you'll never know. And if you do, it could be your next rank 10. I mean, that's really what it comes down to. So it's like, you just have to start to talk about their shoes, compliment their outfit, ask them what drink they like at Starbucks, ask them where they're traveling to, ask them if they have suggestions if you're traveling and it's their hometown. I mean, just have conversations, detach yourself, stop stressing or worrying, I think, about, am I going to get a sale out of this? Is this going to be a promoter? I mean, that's the last thing that should be on your mind, really. It should be, let's have a conversation, let's build a relationship, and let's make friends. Like, that's it.
Yeah. I love how you say that next person might be your next rank 10 or legend. Like, I literally am not going to stop this occasional Uber driving until I sign up a pro champ from the backseat of my car. Like, because like the Uber thing, like, you don't make a lot of money. It's not, and like some nights it's a waste of, it's literally, like, it feels like a waste of time some nights. But like, I'm meeting hundreds of people over the course of months, and they're people from all over the globe. So I literally am not going to give up on that until I find a stud rock star go-getting animal. Like, I know that one of these days that person is going to get in the backseat of my car, and we're going to talk about ketones. They're going to buy a 10-day out of my trunk in a dark parking lot. And it's going to be a really cool story to tell on stage or in the Circle of Champion room. Like, oh, this new rank 10 on my team, they were my Uber passenger 7 months ago, or whatever. Like, it's good. I live for the stories. Like, the guy I met at the gas pump, I'm not mentioning his name, he might be on here, but either way, I can't wait till the day he goes Circle of Champion and Pro Champ, and I get to introduce him on stage as a rank 8, 9, 10, and we get to tell the story. We were pumping gas, talking about his Jeep. He thought I was actually, to be quite honest, he thought I was gay. He thought I was hitting on him, but so it's okay. Who cares? We joke about it though. So like, literally, like, who cares? Like, he thought I was hitting on him or flirting with him, but
I love that you're just like visualizing already.
I am.
This is I'm going to be talking about this in another year on stage. You hear his language, you guys, like his language of, he's going to be my next Circle champion. I'm going to be telling people this story about so-and-so when I'm on stage. Like, that's the thought, like the big picture thinking and the language that Nick uses. And that stuff will just come to fruition over time. Like, I love it. Awesome. Well, we've gone a little over here. So thank you guys so much for sticking with us and being patient. Do you have a call to action for us, Nick? Really, really quick.
Yes, I would love for everybody to try and talk to one person today, whether it's just to talk to them. Like, even if you're not leaving your house all day, like, go to the gas station, run to Starbucks and get a cup of coffee, and just talk to somebody.
Yep.
Get out of your comfort zone, talk to somebody, and report back to your coach, or try and maybe connect with them, get them in your phone, report back to whoever you coach and mentor with, and give them feedback. Like, hey, I went Nick Couch at Starbucks today. I pulled a Nick, like, whatever. Like, report back to whoever you work with and give them feedback. Like, I did it today and it felt amazing. I got this person, they're curious about ketones, whatever level you're comfortable with, go talk to at least one person and report back to your person you coach with and give us some feedback and let us know how it goes.
I love it. I love it. Awesome. You guys are amazing. Let's make it a great day. Let's go talk to some people and detach ourselves from the outcome. Have a wonderful Tuesday, and we will see you guys tomorrow at 12:15 Eastern. Bye, everybody.
See ya.